welcome into the spirit of things, folks. We got a nice show for you tonight. Got a surprise guest coming in just for a quick little chit-chat. Miss Mary's coming in to bless us with her presence for a little bit, and we're really excited. And anyway, folks, for all those that have been having a little bit of problem on getting on privatist.me, we now have pretty much it posted on every page, just no matter what door you sort of come through. If you come in through the front door with Blog Talk or Freedom Reigns, it can be copied and pasted if you need to. We got click-on icons pretty much everywhere. So for those who didn't get their books to come to class tonight, I think I've hopefully covered all the doors as far as letting everybody in to come to class, because got some excellent documentation and information on the banking system that everybody will want downloaded as a PDF for their desktop so they can really get a grip on really how this system actually works. Anyways, are you there, Miss Mary?
Nope.
All right. How are you doing today?
Really? I am through? How do you like that? I never heard anybody say anything to me.
Well, I know you're a young lady, so the Miss moniker, I didn't mean to label you as a Miss, but I'm always hit or miss myself.
Miss.
Anyways, we're getting a little.
What?
Go ahead. Yeah, we're just getting a little snow down here in Virginia land.
Well, I'll tell you, it's well above freezing here.
You're in the Bahamas, right?
Yeah, I'm in the tundra. So really weird weather. Anyway, I want to say that this is so great, and yes, I went to your privatist.me and looked at your documents today. Holy cow! Whoever hasn't seen those has to go see those, because talk about convincing that these third-party entities who are just doing their damnedest to collect, when in fact the original creditor, as you and I know, let's use the bank as an example, or a credit card, they sorry to get right to the point, but come on, let's get into it here. They, not only did they get paid up front because of your signature, where they accessed the trust and got the credit and monetized it for themselves and for maybe for us, but the others, then they want your cash all along the way, and then if you default, supposedly, then they get insurance. They collect insurance on that, and then on top of that, I know I'm stealing your show, but I can't resist it.
No, hey, let her rip, sweetheart. Hey, because they've been hearing it from me. I want them to hear it from the other side of the fence.
Oh, good. Well, yeah. What fence, by the way? But anyway.
It's the Peter side of the fence, but they've heard Peter say it 100 times. But it's nice to have a fresh voice actually clarify and verify exactly what I've been saying all along. I wish. Yeah, please do share.
So they collect. Okay, so originally they collect from the trust, then they collect your payments. Then, if you supposedly default, then they collect on the insurance, and then they sell it to a third party for not a lot. We know it's not a lot, but nevertheless, they can hardly ever. How could they possibly prove a loss? Like if you write them a letter and say, "Go ahead, I'm game, prove your loss." Well, that's even to the original creditor, but for the third party debt collector, well, where did he even come into this? That's how I describe it to people is I say if you owe me $100 and you're kind of avoiding me, and I send my friend to your door, and my friend says, "Hi, I'm here to collect $100 for Mary," what's your first question? Your first question is going to be, well, who in hell are you? Yep. Because why would you trust anybody who says I'm collecting on behalf of? Unless, of course, that friend has a letter signed by me, addressed to you personally, that says, "Hey, remember the $100 you owe me? Well, I'm sending my friend here named Sally, and not only is she going to prove to you who she is, she's going to prove that I am asking her to collect on my behalf." But they can't do that. They never do that. Oh, yeah, they phone and say, "I'm calling on behalf of whatever bank." Really? Prove it. Put it in writing, prove it. But the real issue is since when does the guy answering the door have any kind of a contract with Sally, my friend?
Yep.
It's just impossible. So you say, well, gee, I've checked all my papers, and I don't see any at any time when I've ever done any business with you. So now you're going to have to prove I have a contract with you. It's so far-fetched, it's laughable. But your documents make it so damn apparent, it's hysterical. I mean, when the Attorney General goes after them, I love it.
Oh yeah, I was really I was really excitable boy on that because everybody up that I work with, I was working a pipe fitting job, and they were all laughing at me and saying, "Oh, that's a student loan. You'll never get them out of your pocket." I said, "Oh boy, I love a challenge." I said that just fired me up, and I went for broke. And because, matter of fact, the conversation with the third-party interloper attorney was, by the time I got done, she was asking me if I was an attorney. I said, no. I told you what I said. I said, no, I'm better than an attorney. My hands aren't tied. And she just sort of just shut up. And everybody around the table at my work was sort of laughing. Boy, Pete was bringing it. I said, yeah, because it's just a third-party scumbag trying to get in my business. And the point I'm trying to make basically was, folks, yeah, there's nothing to fear when you understand they're nothing but third-party, bottom-feeding scumbags. And I give them this moniker, and I know a lot of people say, well, Peter's nasty, and it gives them the... Well, you know what? It's the same as you coming to my house and stealing out of my wallet like you had some sort of capacity to do such. Because, folks, that's theft. They're taking food off your sisters' and brothers' dinner tables because you think you owe something. But once you know that the original creditor got paid, and that's the whole game. It's game over. So that's why we got to take the presumption, put it upside down, which is a very, very simple administrative process. But if you fail to do it and fail to remove the presumption, that's when they start garnishing and all this other stuff. But once you do what I'm talking about, sweetie, I did $80,000. I let one in the woodpile, and that was the student loan that I forgot about after 3 years. And guess what? Next thing I know, my employer's I'm getting my paycheck, and I'm saying, what the hell is this crap for the student loan? I said, I never received no correspondence from these clowns. I would have shut that door, had I. But guess what? I remember seeing something 3 years earlier, and I left it alone, and they found me, and they come through the back door. It's a lot easier to beat them on the front end because they have no contract. They have no proof. You don't have to worry about arbitration or going to court. And if you do it on the front end, you can remove all the presumptions very, very simply. And you know what? You're no longer low-lying fruit, and they don't want to talk to you anymore. So but I let one through. That's one against me, but I said I can get them out of my pocket. Everybody just looked at me and laughed and said, yeah, right. And so there, folks, for those who haven't seen those documents, those who haven't come on and signed up at privatist.me for free, the curriculum's posted. It's directly on the curriculum page, on the home page when you sign in. So you need to sign up on privatist.me, and you can see my documents. You can see the check they gave me back. You can see it was for a student loan, because everybody who's from the Show Me State, that's what I like to do. I like to show you. So here's your irrevocable proof. And, yeah, it's not Photoshop, folks. You can tell.
It's great. And I want to say, but I'm trying to find something here. Just a second. I know that there's something. I think it's just connected with CRA up here, where, but it could be any third party. Well, somebody's going to correct us on this, I'm sure. I'm just looking it up. But this requirement to pay that CRA sends you, because you reminded me when you said 3 years ago you got this letter and you just sort of forgot about it. But so what CRA does is send a requirement to pay. Well, those things were outlawed just about 20 years ago. They repealed any third-party collection for requirement to pay. Well, what happens all the time is banks, not only do we get requirements to pay, but so does the bank. Well, when the bank gets it, they just steal your cash. When in fact, if you can come up with this repealed, and it's somewhere. If anybody needs it, email me and all. But in other words, it hasn't been in existence for nearly 20 years, 1994, which means the bank's on the line for the cash. You walk back into the bank, show them this, say, fork over, because you should never have stolen my cash. And by the way, if you don't put the cash back into the account, I'll sue you personally. Never mind the bank. I'm suing you personally. So, but what I'm trying to check right now is if it's any third-party debt collector or if it's just a CRA requirement to pay. And let me just have a look. But you go ahead and talk while I look.
Well, yeah, hey, let me share with you, now that you're on that subject, my employer technically was on the hook. A matter of fact, I was just talking about it right before I got on the call with Brother Michael, and it was Shaw Group, Inc., and I'm going to mention them. Shout out to Shaw Group. I think they got sold out anyways, but they were a $1 billion company, and they were giving over to the third-party bottom feeder without my permission or consent. If anybody wants to go look at my document, their so-called withholding order, it's laughable. There's no social on it. It says me as a debtor in all caps. No signatures, folks, it's like me sending you a withholding order from my friggin' typewriter, for crying out loud. If you look at the document, it's totally laughable. But technically, my employer would be on the hook if I wanted to come round robin, because they gave over amounts to a third-party debt collector who then I proved didn't have any right to be collecting from me, because I put them in the box and ratted them out to the state attorney general's office after I gave them the 30-day notice, and they failed to respond. So technically, and I asked my employer, I said, what the hell y'all doing giving away my money? I said, I didn't sign, I have no contract with these clowns. And so just on that level alone, I really would have had a lawsuit all day long. I just, when you get busy in life, you do 12-hour days at work fixing fit and pipe, you're tired. So the last thing you're thinking about is suing. But technically, you know what, I had a hands-down case all day long.
Wow, that's great. Well, the docs are glaring. I think it's hysterical. I'm still looking for this revised statutes. I suspect, all right, I found it, but I think it's across the board, but no, I think it's just tax. Well, anyway, good enough, even if it's just tax, because how many of us have received requirements to pay, where CRA is coming after you, so you just go into your bank and say, oh, by the way, I got one of these, and if you get one, well, you might just want to take this into consideration. Like, do it in advance. Don't wait for them to steal your cash. Do it in advance.
Right.
If you get what's called an RTP, you move quickly and go into your bank and warn them. And because you know that the bank's about to get one, too. But anyways, as far as I can tell, it's only for CRA. And I'm sure, I don't know, is there something similar for the IRS?
Oh, I'm sure there is. But, see, that's the problem. What most people don't read when they read their bank, unless you reserve your, especially to say, hey, you ain't giving over nothing to the IRS, and you have to sort of preface it. It says on pretty much every bank statement or bank when you sign up to a bank, they say basically they can give over to you've abandoned it. They can give it over to the IRS or whoever, and that's why I haven't had a bank account since 1995. I said, I'm not playing this game no more. I don't sign up for giving over my funds to any third-party intervener. And the IRS is nothing but a privately held corporation. I got the 3-page document on incorporation of them. I can prove that to anybody as well. So it's all corporate bunch of whores stealing from the masses, literally.
Well, I'll bet you, I'm certain that you're accurate about opening a bank account, and I'm sure that that's similar here too. Now we have to say, okay, if we're opening a bank account, then we have to line out. Well, of course, if you line it out, they say we can't open your bank account. But I still contend there's got to be then a way to sign the docs or the account card. Boy, I can remember when I first opened a bank account. I'll bet it was 1959 or so. And
Mary, now you're making me feel real young now.
I think I was 10 years old. So,
okay.
So I don't think I had to show anything, say anything, do anything, except put my name on a signature card. I'm Mary. And that was all there was, and they handed me a little passbook. That was it. But now I think we have to be a little cagier. So I wonder, what about signing everything beneficiary? Because if we know that it's the trustee who handles all the accounting, then except for this fact that, I haven't thought this through. I just thought of it right now. But
right.
Magically I'll come up with the answer in the morning, But there's got to be a way out of that and still open an account. And it might just be showing them this law. Oh, by the way, I don't mind you're taking cash out, because I know you're going to do it anyway, because you're bloody thieves. But just want you to be aware of this, because you might get sued. You never know. Of course, if you threaten them, they say, well, get out. I don't know. It's been a long time since I opened an account, although I did open one with my son a couple of months ago. Oh, he hates me. And that is because I said to the banker, whilst he was pretending to read the docs, by that I mean my son, and I said to the banker, when somebody comes in for a loan, where does the money come from that you lend? Like, from where does the cash that you lend originate? And he said, well, from the other customers. And I said, oops, you'd be in violation of the Bank Act if you lent out somebody else's
Oh,
money.
sweetie, and I've got that, by the way. Yeah, I've got like 19 different cases that the banks can never loan their depositors money.
No, I know. So then I said, okay, so well, now let's try that again. Well, that's
Right.
when my son taps me on the leg and says, Mom. And I said, come on. Somebody's got to learn something here. So I said, let's try that again. He said, well, no, the bank, And I said, well, you mean the bank's profits, like chairman of the board, like you mean the stockholders, all that stuff? Well, yeah, no, I don't think they'd go along with that, because what if you lost it? No, they won't let you lose their cash. So where do you think it actually comes from? Well, that's when my son just kind of goes berserk, and so I think, well, maybe I'll shut up this time. But then, I was dying to send the banker a letter. Remember me? I was in yesterday. You don't know the answer to this question. But I've since distributed all those questions. You know the questionnaire, it kind of flew around a few weeks ago about, questions to ask your banker. Oh, they're a riot. So I took down a few
I got some beautiful questions that I'll know I'll never get the answers. I already know the answers before I ask, Mary. That's why I like asking these type of questions.
Right.
That's why I posted the Secret Banker's Manual for everybody to read. So, folks, if you haven't gone over to Private.me and got your free PDF, the Secret Banker's Manual, this is a certified public accountant forensic specialist who uncovered this, and he breaks it down with the gap principles and all the stuff. If you don't know what those are, you need to go read it because it's huge. I mean, it will melt your brain, but it's beautiful. It's only 75 pages. But, because they hypothecate everything out of thin air. You know it, I know it, and now the masses are fixing to know it.
It's about 67 pages too long for me, but anyway.
I'll read it to you as a bedtime story on Skype some night. It'll put you to sleep.
I think I read a lot of it a few years back, but it's boring as hell. But you get the drift. In other words,
right.
They're trying to steal your labor. That's the bottom line.
Exactly. Like I say, they didn't tell us the tricks is for kids side of the story, and this is what I'm trying to help other people get their minds right because they're afraid of the third-party debt collectors. Folks, it's time to have some fun, and that's where I'm going. Yeah, Mary, you're going to love my documents that you'll be getting attached very soon for Canada A, and you're going to really, I think, get excited because they're never going to answer anything on this document. And after that, the game's pretty much over. That's how I, like I say, beat the 80,000 on the front, and I let one through. So,
well, it's everybody shies. Everybody says, the collection agents are calling, and I say, well, what do you say? No, I don't answer it. I think, well, let's have some fun. Come on, why not answer it? And when they ask for the name, you say, well, I'm the beneficiary of that trust. It sounds to me as if you probably want to talk to the trustee. Is that right? Well, they don't have a clue what they're talking about, right?
Right.
So anyway, though, you could say, I just want to give you a little bit of information just before I pass you over to the trustee who will deal with this with you. But I want you to know that I know this because, and you can say, my dad's a banker or something like that, or my uncle was an attorney. I always have fun with that. And then say, did you know that the bank that you're representing has actually been paid 4 times? 4 times the amount that you're collecting. So they got paid, first of all, when they went into the trust account. That's how I know you want to talk to the trustee. But I'm the beneficiary, so I really can't talk to you. But I can tell you this, kind of like secret stuff, And then they got paid when the foolish customer actually paid in his labor. And then when the customer woke up and quit paying, then they collected insurance on that account, and then they sold it to you. So you actually got stiffed because you know what? You're never, ever going to collect another penny from me. So goodbye.
Exactly. And that's why if anybody looks at the third-party correspondence, we are merely trying to collect, but they never have a contract with the original creditor. That's the tricks is for kids. That's why they say, oh, you owe us $1,000, give us $200, and we'll call it a day. That's because there's never a valid contract. They're not they infer they're representing the original creditor, but they're just third-party bottom feeders tricking you to come play in the game. So we just got to put them to bed and remove the presumption, which is very, very easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing I say to them when they say, well, sometimes, if you can have some fun just by admitting to being the name because, it doesn't really matter at this point.
Right.
And then you can say, did you, and they say, well, you owe something on this. And then you burst out laughing, did you buy a bad debt? And I've done this. And they hang up on me. Oh, wait, here's my favorite one, and this really will make them hang up. You say, well, Ms. Brown, are you at work right now? Well, yes, I work for whatever, ABC. Oh, are you at your desk? Yes. At your computer? Uh-huh. What are you wearing? And they have hung up on me.
Sweetheart, I go a little farther. I like to play with them a little bit. I like you. I like to have a sense of humor, and I just say, hey, anything you can, and say you are now being officially taped. And anything you say can and will be used. Yeah, I need your Social Security number. Go get your boss. I need his Social Security. I can't give you that. Yeah, so what the hell makes you think I'm going to give you anything over the phone? I says you're a third-party interloper. I says put it in writing. Send it to me.
Yeah.
Most of the time, once I ask for their Social Security number, they click the phone on me anyways.
Well, and that's
call
just it, and that's the fast way out. You phone and say, is this a collection agent? Yeah. You know what? Put it in writing, and that'll just end it. Don't call me until you've written a letter. And by the way, make sure it's signed and also copy of whatever it is that makes you think you and I've done business.
Right, that we have a contract. Yep, you remove the presumption. See, it's so simple. And there's nothing to fear but fear itself once you understand it's already been paid in full from the insurance. So guess what? And that's any type of debt, really, from medical debt, old car debt, because they tried beating me for $5,000 on a Suzuki, and I told them, send me the valid contract I have with you, and I'll need to see the contract you have with Ford and all these other clowns, and I never heard from them after that because they knew it's just the Tricks for Kids hour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And and if you're being harassed, listen, I want you to know it would have been about a decade ago. Yeah, it was about 02, might have been 01, and this bank was chasing me. Of course, this is long before I knew the bulk of this, right? I mean, that's over. That was over a decade ago. I've learned a lot over the last decade, but. I used to, because my kids thought this was funny. They were leaving actually rather almost pornographic messages on the machine, which didn't bother me because I knew better. But so then I'd say to the kids, well, answer the phone. Well, then we got a really shrill whistle. So when they phone, you talk really softly, and they say what? So now they're really listening, and you blow this really shrill whistle in their ear. That was part of it. But the other thing is I had a whoopee cushion. Remember whoopee cushions?
Yes, I do.
So the kids would see, they'd put the phone down and they'd sit on a whoopee cushion. So, I mean, I have to say it again. If you're not having fun with this stuff, you're not doing it right. So you got to do something. Don't just let the phone ring because they're just going to keep phoning. So either threaten them or have some fun with them or annoy them or do something.
Exactly. It's just really, really simple. And, folks, well, that's what I'm going to explain over private. This is when I do my private calls on Thursdays because I'm going to cover this stuff specifically, and you can really have some fun with this. And that's, like I say, they have no clout. They just intimidation. Matter of fact, I just posted today the FTC beat the brakes off of some clown outfit down in Houston, Texas, third-party bottom feeders. And it was a beautiful thing. Yeah, see, folks, it's just, like I say, they think they got a contract with you, and you're going to remove the presumption. But you get to have some fun. Like I say, Mary says on them calls, let them call, and then you tell them, hey, everything you can say will be used against you in a court of law. What's your name? What's your Social Security number? And they click on you, and they never call me back after that.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because then they just know they're going to get quizzed, and so that's kind of the end of it. Yeah, the real drift is to get them to go away, because they're not a threat, they're just annoying. But I would really like to tell them, do you know that your client has gotten paid 4 times? Do you know that? Because I do.
What's that now? I missed the question. I got sidetracked by somebody Skyping me.
Yes, I know. It wasn't a question. I was saying, isn't our job to educate as many of these twits as possible? And so it might be a good idea just to ask, do you know that your client has gotten paid 4 times for this alleged debt? Do you know that? Because I want you to know that I do know that. They'll jump up and down and, make obscene remarks and stuff. But just say, well, I'm just giving you some information. Take it or leave it. But,
yep.
The whole point of whatever it is we do is put them out of commission.
Right. Well, like I say, it's my job to make these people go get new jobs and do something of substance instead of bothering my brothers and sisters. And now I have a special administrative package that's going to do that for everybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the other thing is when they do put stuff in writing, that's where you want to put something really cool in writing back to them.
Yep. And you're gonna like what's coming, Mary. You'll be one of the first ones getting posted when the package comes out. I'll show you. I'll send you U.S. Inc.'s package. It'll be your Canada Inc. will be parallel, and it's going to be a beautiful thing because this is where we live. And Michael and I like having fun with documents, and we just like asking stuff. I want to make it so arduous when they see the red box and they see the UPU at the bottom and all this other stuff that they sort of have an aneurysm and just say, no longer low-lying fruit. Leave this one alone, because that's the way I played before when I had to administrate on my own behalf for the $80,000 when I lost my cable company and I was living on the cards for a year. Everything went sideways, and I had to dig in deep, quick, and fast to find out how to get the pain, because they were beating my brakes off pretty good until I understood it was all one big sham.
Well, that's the horror of it, when you find out that you never owed these twits a penny. Never. But yeah, and imagine what's going to happen when enough of these damn companies get your letters, like just en masse, like hundreds.
Yes. Well, I want to make 1,000.
Yeah, that's what's going to have to clout, is when they continue to get these letters, like just reams of them, like the Santa Claus bag, full of these letters. And each of these companies, when they, before they even open it, they go, another one of these. And they're just going to have to write off all these alleged customers. And pretty soon we'll just put them out of biz.
Right, and that's a beautiful thing. On that note, Mary, I know you had other pressing issues for the evening. Did you want to hang out after the break, or did you need to take care of other things succinctly?
I probably got about another 15 or 20 minutes, so I'll see you on the other side.
Anyways, welcome back, folks, with Mary bringing some love, Peter bringing some love in the spirit of things, because, folks, that's where we live, in our spirits, and it's really been a very nice call so far. I really appreciate Mary coming to the fold for a couple minutes tonight and sharing some love, because, hey, folks, it started with her. Like I say, I call her my teacher in a Skype. I says, the teacher appears when the student is ready, and I brought my books, I brought my pens, and I took notes, copious notes, and I got the memo. So welcome back, and Mary's going to share a little bit more love about this beautiful thing called third-party interlopers.
Love. I'm sharing my rage.
It's all love, sweetheart. We share the love here.
I'll try and look at it that way. Actually, yeah. No, really, you've actually kind of made a point. And that is, it truly is, and I know you'd say the same thing, it really is our love for our fellow man, because we're tired of seeing him getting beaten up when it's unnecessary. And my friend says, remember to say, and by the way, David Icke says the same thing. In fact, he even wrote a book, get off your knees. Quit thinking they are the authority. I mean, wasn't that also part of my book, right? Remember the old bumper sticker? Question authority? Are we actually doing that? Are we questioning authority? Are we letting these people know, you're just a man and you don't get to tell me what to do. Oops. Oh, you have a uniform? Where did you get that? At Malabar's? So I could have a uniform too. Anyway, we just have to start. And by the way, I think that was the end of my previous article was, not only no, but hell no.
Right. We need to get, this is how we get empowered. This is not warring, folks. This is about taking back your power. Quit laying down and letting some, like I say, some middleman, some monkey in the middle, somebody thinks who thinks somebody died and left him king. I get that's why. Yeah, Mary, you love the way I ask cops questions because I bring it, and I get them so friggin' sideways they don't know whether crap or wind the wristwatch. I talk to them, the educated ones with college degrees, and I bring them to the deep end of the drink, and they're drowning. Because they can't think logically. They have no deductive reasoning skills. They have no logical thought process. This is just the way we do things. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all about process. I learned that crap in the military, and I threw that yoke off my back, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it really is a case of, and although we have to admit that this is a numbers game, in other words, the more of us there are who are awake, the more clout we have, but we don't need to be together to do this. We just need to be instead of just 1 in 100 whom they bump into, say in the car or whoever stops us or whatever the situation, not 1 in 100. We need to be 30 in 100 or more.
Right.
In other words, so that they just don't have a clue what they're walking up to, whether it's a cop walking up to a car, whether it's somebody being dragged into court. Don't go to court. If you have to go, get dragged. And whatever the circumstances, when they really wonder if it's going to be the next one who's going to, show them up in front of everybody else, then they're going to start realizing they're out of luck. The more of us there are, whether we're acting individually or in groups or with whatever the circumstances. And let's face it, in a crowd, only one of us has to know.
Right.
I hear great stories.
Yeah, they're standing there naked before us, Mary. Just the questions we ask in the documents, because see, that's called not coming with clean hands. See, because they tell us, what do they tell us all the time? Gee, if you have nothing to hide, well, hey, I'm reversing the friggin' polarity here, and if you have nothing to hide, you'll be glad to share with me the account number, the wedding signatures, everything, how it all got in the game, and so I can share the love so I can settle this account. Because I want to come with love and harmony to settle the account. But I'm going to need just a couple things from you, sort of like I talk about on this bond stuff, I need some love. Share the love so I can settle the damn account. I'm coming here with honor. They're in dishonor. They're breaching the trust every day of the week, and we're taking it to a new level. Like I say, you're going to love what is coming forward because we are almost complete for Canada, eh?
Oh, that's Canada, eh? And that's great because the more of these things, the more of these letters that they receive, they're just going to start opening them and just throwing them down. And if it's 1 in 100, well, they can ignore us. But if we all throw out these letters at them, just fire them out, and say, yeah, go ahead, prove it, essentially, and they'll realize they're in a losing game. It'll be their demise. We just have to get as many of these letters out to them as we can.
Right,
and to all agencies.
Right, it's a door closing option, folks. Everything is done in threes. Mary, just like we know, they send us stuff in threes. If we fail, then that we acquiesce. So all we're going to do is remove the presumption, and now they got to do some heavy lifting, which they'll never do. That's why you're no longer low-lying fruit, and they don't want to play with you no more. They go after the low-lying fruit. You're the cherry on the top of the dadgum tree. We'll find some other mole that we can get into who can be intimidated by our tactics.
That's right. And if there aren't anywhere near as many as there used to be, thanks to our knowing what in hell's really going on, then they're going to be sunk. These things are going to be a thing of the past. In fact, was it you? Was it you, Peter? Yeah, it was. Sent me something. Let me just look here about Texas, where they the fair trade. The FTC whacked them. Yeah, because of the intimidation tactics.
Right, they're lying, telling people that folks said this is how scummy they are, and this is why I show them the same respect as a person who comes into my house and steals, because that's what they're the equivalent of. And when you get your mind right, you know it, and then they know that you know, and they leave you alone. So, yeah, down in Texas, folks, they were doing some beautiful stuff like threatening people, saying, hey, we're tied in with the sheriff's office, this, that, intimidation tactics from hell. And that's beyond FTC stuff. They get real excited. So, and I think it was in that post, in that email, not the email, but the attachment. I have it saved to my computer, and it was a managing corporation who was sharing this information, but they're in the same business that their friends got whacked in. So so in other words, they're saying, hey, y'all got to be careful. Certain things you can't do. Well, they can't do none of it, sweetheart. Once I sent them my first nuclear airstrike with my verification of debt in the red box, it's gonna go sideways. It's beautiful. Sweetheart, I laugh and I chuckle because I know what I got. And when I share what I got with the rest of the masses, we're really going to have some stinking fun en masse in every doggone country, UK, America, Australia, Canada. Folks, we're going to get to have some fun now because we get to treat them with the same respect they do us. We're not going at them sideways. We're just bringing it forward. And when they read this document and they get this document and they see the UPU and that we mentioned their bonds a little bit on there, and we want their contract. We want the contract we have with them, the originator's contract. They can't produce nothing. They know because the stuff I'm asking, sweetheart, is deadly. And they know that they've been found out. That's why they never responded to me on the $80,000. Never. And I had $10,000, 11s, 9s, 8s. So all these people chicken to move forward, folks, they'll never drag this inside of a court. And if they do, guess what? I know what to do next. So I'll share the love.
No, once they get you, I got to tell you, I can't wait to see what you've written. And for the fact that, and my hat's off to you for having written it for other countries as well, because I'm sure that there are some there was some tweaking to have been done. In other words, it's not all it's pretty much the same drift, but you have to know different, et cetera. So
right.
I can't wait to see it, but I'll tell you that, I think it is time we started having some fun, and I think it will be a riot once we send these out. And because we can just sort of anticipate they're receiving it and just watching them kind of go, oh, because that'll be the end of it. They're not going to chase us. They can't.
Yeah, they're right, exactly. Like I say, Mary, my objective is to put them out of business and let them go get real jobs instead of harassing people under bogus auspices. And it's literally okay, somebody actually posted me, I just want to cover this for 2 seconds. They posted me and said, well, what about time bar, debt, whatever? Hey, let me tell you something, folks. Fraud vitiates all contracts, and everything they perpetrated through the postal mails is a fraud. So guess what? It's dead from the beginning, whence it began. None pro tunc to the date of inception. They have no friggin' valid claim, and they can't get it. And whether they get it, they can't get it in 21 days, let alone 210 years. It doesn't exist. And once you understand that, we get to really have some fun.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, I think our attitude really is it matters. In other words, if we send these letters out sort of going, well, that's the end of you bozos, then just our attitude alone, that'll clear us. We'll feel clear about that. And what just happened?
That was me. I sent you some love, sweetheart. It's in a red box.
Okay, this looks great. Thank you. I never know whether people are hanging up on me or what.
No. It was just Peter sending you a Skype.
I was like, well, we've had enough of her. Click.
No.
So,
it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, wait.
I'm thoroughly looking forward to it.
Yeah, you'll get the gist of it when you see this debt validation notice of fault. That's the second one that goes out. So we are, and it's going to be Rice Krispie treats for all of us. Hey, folks, no more of them stealing off your plate. The vultures are fixing to get theirs. And you know what? This is en masse. This is the whole reason I did this, because once I can get people to really understand how much fun they can have with this, we're really going to have a blast. And the testimonials are going to be massive. There's no doubt in my mind, because I know what I know, and I can always prove it. That's why I posted my documents for those who have problems with people knee-deep in their pockets. Like I say, everybody said I couldn't. And when you tell me I can't, Mary, that really gets me excited. And then I make it happen. I like being told I can't do something.
Yeah, and I also sort of want to say to people who are still frightened or intimidated by these ridiculous agencies, I want to say that, well, just as you said, they're the scum. What do you call them? Scum-sucking bottom feeders.
Yeah, it's like a sea urchin, you know.
Yeah, and the part of that reason is even we know that CRA and IRS are more vicious, like they're meaner and they're more vicious than the guy. That's what makes this third-party debt collector so simple. Is they have no viciousness to go by. They don't have. What are they going to do? They just really. It's the simplest. Put it this way: they're the easiest to tell the buzz off because they have no clout. They have nothing to go on. Nothing. So, in other words, there's other entities. Here's what I tell people when they say, oh, I owe this much. I think, well, first of all, let's get it straight. You don't owe anybody anything. But after that, now, whom is it you believe you owe? The bank? No, the collection. I say, well, if it's gone to collection, what's your concern? If it were the bank, I'd say, okay, we got to, be a little, develop some tactics here. But you're saying it's a collection? If it's already gone to collection, you don't owe anybody anything at all, even though you don't ever owe anybody anything. But in other words, it's almost like a reprieve. It's gone to collections. Oh, thank God it's gone to collections.
Right, it's time to have fun. That's what I'm trying to tell people. If it's gone to the third-party bottom feeder, matter of fact, Mary, I had a call my brother Jorge on the call last Saturday night, and we covered specifically his $40,000 in debt, and he beat the brakes off the original creditor. He didn't wait to get it farmed out, and they all went away. How's that grab you? Yeah, I saw his documents. They were pretty nice. Pretty too long-winded for me. Peter likes to keep it simple, stupid, so they have you're not going to get to 7 pages. 2 pages is as long as it gets, and you're going to get the memo, and there's going to be absolutely no gray area in your brain what the hell I'm asking for.
Yeah. So, let's estimate. I don't know how many people are on your call, but should we estimate that half of them believe they owe credit card debt or they've given up paying because, well, hell, nobody has any money anymore. And so they're worried that this is, the bank's going to come after them. Now, the bank could come after them, and that's another story. But once it goes to collection, I mean, this, your letter will be fabulous. But I guess what I want to say is that we really want the word spread, that there's a way out from this harassment by these ridiculous companies. It's alarming to me to think of how many people work for them and actually think they're doing something honorable. Or even if they know it's dishonorable, they still have this inkling that, well, you borrowed the money, so don't you owe it back? In other words, they just don't have a clue. So I just think the more of us who know and the more of us who can tell people who gripe about, I'm getting calls from collection agents, so tell them. Say, well, okay, here's the deal. Don't worry about it. Send them this great letter, and that'll be the end of it.
Yep. And it really is that simple, folks. I'm not a genius. I just dug in, and I used their own garbage against them. And like I say, it's really, really, really simple. That's why I said, hey, Michael, we'll create the 3-step documentation process, and you just follow the bouncing ball and just send them out. Matter of fact, it only takes exactly 30 days. You send a 21, a 3, and a 3. Notice a fault, notice a default. It will never see the inside of a court. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about because I never saw the inside of a court. People are running on fear, and once you understand that they got paid in full, you're just getting a third-party interloper. No different than somebody coming to your house and stealing it out of your pocket. And when you get your mind right on that, it really allows you to move forward because you really get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's what we get stuck between our ears, Mary. Everything starts between the ears. Once you have your truth and it's unrevocable, undeniable, just like I've been proving with my administrative documents and showing and posting things in the banker's secret manual and this and stuff. I mean, if people will just go read it, they're really going to get the memo and they're going to say, hey, it's just a game, and these are just clowns of the circus, and they have absolutely no clout. They're third-party corporations. That's all they are. Mm-hmm. And you don't have no contract with me. I'd like to share it with me, and then we'll
yeah.
It won't.
They're just weasels who can't do anything else. They're kind of like cops. They take them dumb, violent, stupid. Okay, we'll take you. Once upon a time, being a cop we shouldn't get onto that. But anyway, it used to be an honorable job, but now it's just they're thugs. Well, anyway, okay, never mind that.
Hey, can you share? Well, I know you put a new post on your site. I'd like you to share your site. Give it a little kudos before you roll out the door on me at 8. Please, I know you've posted some really beautiful things, and please share that with our listening audience for a minute.
I can't remember. No.
You sound like me. I forgot my name.
I never know what I'm doing. Never mind what I'm writing. Oh, but I will actually. Okay, I know I said it 2 weeks ago, and it took me another week to do it. But I really do intend to post something else. Okay, I want to say tomorrow, but we know that I lie about that stuff. So over the next couple of days. You can't trust me on that stuff. Over the next couple of days, I do want to post something, and it's going to be vastly more succinct than my previous, 8 pages. I'm sorry about that, but, I just said I had to get it out. And I really don't remember quite what, it was about, it was about, how they get us on emotion, and actually it's rather fascinating. But anyway, read that one, and it's at spiritualeconomicsnow.net. Don't forget the now, spiritualeconomicsnow.net. And I will post it in a couple of days because it's going to be very brief. It's going to be like the main things we just kind of have to keep in mind all the time. And if that means, carrying little notes in your bag with you, then do that. Just stuff to keep in your forebrain sort of thing. And just like with just 3 sentences attached to each little subject. That's my intent anyway. So here's hoping. And yes, I forgot to list your website when I posted that article. So I promise you I'll remember this time. Anyway. So I'll get that in.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get Deatra, just like we did with Jade when I had her on, to post spiritualeconomicsnow.net on tonight's call so they can easily access what you're posting and seeing what you're cooking at the barbecue.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Somebody wrote me and said, boy, that's really dark. I said, well, I'm feeling dark.
Right. Matter of fact,
I'm feeling much lighter now. So, it'll be kind of I don't know. I want to say solution oriented, but we'll see. Anyway, I know it's in my head. It'll show up. Anyway, Well, I've been sort of getting ready as I've been talking. Yes, I can do those 2 things at once, but I can't do anything else. Anyway, so I should mosey unless, okay, well, wait till the break. That's 5 minutes. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, I know that, like I say, you were the pioneer that started all this, and now it's getting gravitational pull. See, you never know when you throw your rock in the pond what type of ripple effect it's going to have. Some damn Yankee might grab on hold of some information and actually run with it.
Well, I do get a lot of over the years, of course, thousands, but even to this day, I would say I get at least 1 email a day from someone who says, I just finished reading your book. Good grief, I knew something was wrong. Or sometimes it's, I had no idea, but boy, have you wakened me up. Or, yes, I suspected, now I know, so now I can tell my friends. Or I even get, I know this because I read your book, and my friends are giving me all kinds of trouble because, they just want to stay the same, right? So, well, then I say you make new friends.
Right.
You don't want to hang out with dumb people, eh?
Yeah, hey, my family members, they don't want to get the memo. So, usually it is your own family, direct, immediate to you, that doesn't want to hear it because it challenges their false paradigm, and then they might have to take responsibility for their actions for buying off on a false ideology, and that's what I've found out over the years. I love my family members, but they really, really don't want to get it. So
I love you, but yeah. Well, it's the you're never a prophet in your own land. But you know what it really is, and I figured this out because I've asked a lot of people who knew me prior to my writing my book, did you read my book? And now, don't get me wrong, many have. But I know why. The ones who haven't, I know why they haven't. And that's because they think they know me. Well, it's true, they do know me. But they don't know the side of me that they don't want to know. So they don't read my book because then they know that they're going to discover something about me that they don't know. And when people think they know people, they don't really want to know what they don't know. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Oh, no. They don't want to take the whole enchilada with the cheese sauce and everything else added onto it.
Yeah. So, yeah, there really is a case of saying not only no, but hell no to everybody. And by the way, that goes for the cops too. Boy, I'll tell you, I heard a great story last night, and I wish I could give you all the details, but I don't know that I should do that. But maybe somebody will call into you and tell you the story, because it's really worth it, and it really is. It's standing up for ourselves. It's holding our ground, and that includes to the cops. Yep, they're armed, but so what? Damn it all.
Yeah, I know what you speak of, because I got shared with that this afternoon. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. So we know the story, but yes, I've been given permission to say it. However, I still think, okay, well, if you know the story, you tell it, because it's really good.
Yeah. Hey, it's just one of our young members to Private.me decided he wanted to ask. Basically, they were out 2 o'clock in the morning, and Deputy Donuts was making their donut runs, and they come into the donut shop or wherever it was, and
where they live.
Yeah. Matter of fact, and so they asked them what they were doing now. Anyways, I forget the story now because I'm having a brain fart. Share with me, Mary.
Let me try.
Yeah.
All right, let me try. So the cop looks over to a group of young men, and said, What are you doing out at this hour of the night? As if they should be home in bed, right? Teenagers, yeah. And, like any clever young man, they completely ignored him. I know we're running low on time here. They ignored them. And then the cop says, hey, I'm talking to you. And our prize man turns around and says, are you talking to the dead me or the live me?
Oh, yeah.
Because if it's the live me, then you're doing so under your full unlimited commercial liability, and that's a warning. And that was the end of the conversation.
That was it. He put him to bed. Mary, I thank you so much for coming to the show tonight, even if it's just for half a show. I know you're busy. And, folks, we thank Mary. We love Mary. And, hey, we're going to keep this ball rolling. So, folks, Mary, you have a great evening. Thank you for showing up. And, folks, we'll be back in about 5 minutes after break. Welcome to round two, folks, in the spirit of things. And, if you missed the first half, you can always catch the tape. It's all good. Sister Mary was sharing some love, some really good stuff. I'm going to share with you a little meat and potatoes on the other side of this show, because that's where I live. And I like to give everybody a little bit more clarity. Anyways, we're going to move on. And, we have 872 coming on in. And, matter of fact, Deatra, feel free to let that in. That's Brother Gregg from north of me. That'll be fine. I know who that is. If you want to let him through, it's all good.
Hello.
Hi, Brother Gregg. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm making a rolled pork roast. I just got done filleting the whole thing into a nice big long strip, and now I've filled it up with all kinds of seasoning and stuff. I'm rolling it back up and put it on the grill in this below zero freaking temperature.
Oh my God! Oh yeah. It's snowing down here. I know you're colder than hell, and you need to stuff some of that through the phone for Brother Peter so I can get a taste.
Yeah, I don't mean to say it's cold, but I was out running to get a couple odds and ends, and I saw a dog stuck to a fire hydrant.
Yeah, I had that. I done the tongue on the metal thing in the winter. My brother's had to pour some water on my tongue to get me loose. Not a good idea.
It's been a little chilly, but you got to really think that I'm kind of lucky. I don't know. I know that there's a lot of folks around the world that are concerned about global warming. In Chicago, we're concerned about it too, but we're just concerned that it's not happening fast enough.
Yeah, right. Yeah, with 40 below, I did a little stint up in Chicago back in '78 in my Navy. My 40 below with a wind chill was not conducive to where. That's why I had to get to California after I did my tour in Chicago.
Yeah,
anyways,
Mary sounded pretty cool. She's got some great insights, and it's wonderful to have her on board. It's great.
Yep. Oh yeah, I really appreciate her blessing me with an hour. We were only gonna do a half, and she come in through the door, and I want her to share a little bit of the love, and because this really is not a complex Pythagoras theorem issue that we're dealing with here. It's just you didn't know what you didn't know, and once you do know, then guess what? You can affect change on a whole different level. Anyways,
the hardest thing I think most people have is it's like you never knew this stuff, right? And then all of a sudden you know this stuff, and it's like, okay, I already took the red pill, but no, I want the blue pill again. I changed my mind.
Oh yeah, I waffle for 10 years. I said, am I going into psychogenic shock? I mean, because you argue with yourself back and forth. You're saying, okay, I know what I know is true, but it's like so overwhelmingly overwhelming. You just say, okay, I want to go back to fantasy land because you. Okay, I think you and I talked about this before. I think it comes down to the tree of familiarity. When you're familiar with it, that's all you've known. It's really hard to step out from that box into the new paradigm because the old paradigm is so comfortable, like a comfortable pair of sneakers to pull you back in. They fit good. They're comfortable. I live here. I've lived here all my life in my mind between my ears, and it's not wrecking me psychologically. Well, you gotta break out the paradigm, or else the pain's going to become so great you'll be binded in a whole different level that you never wanted, and say, who died and left these people king?
Well, what Mary was saying, kind of like tongue in cheek, a lot of people who have written to her have said, my friends don't understand. As a matter of fact, they think I've sprouted antennas and a third eye, almost, because, like, you're not the same as you used to be. You used to be so much fun, and now all you talk about is all this stuff that we don't care about. Hey, there's a football game on tonight, man. Let's go watch. No, I got a conference call I'm going to go on. I promised, so, you count me out. It's okay. We'll catch up. And everybody's just like, dude,
Right. Well, hey, yeah, it's brother. I don't know if you ever seen it. That movie on consent. I just posted it pretty much in everybody's box. Let me see if I can find it. It's called Slavery by Consent: Understanding the Human Farm. Folks, if you haven't watched this, I'm going to post it over on our videos page at private.me. So, folks, that's a paradigm shifter right there, and it really, it's the beers, the breads and circuses that have kept our brothers and sisters' minds so malleable and stuck on the other side of the fence. It's the breads and circuses that have kept you, and that's what they want. They don't want you thinking like what we're thinking or talking about what we're talking about, because then they can't. The control mechanisms start. Oh, wait, this one wants to break free. We can't have that.
Though, Peter, we also have a problem of our own on this side of discovery, and that is we can inadvertently become cruel. And I just want to share that idea with everybody.
Sure.
Just like somebody who's quit smoking and his friends are still smoking, and you want to go hang out with them, and it's murder for you to do that because it's such a temptation. And so a lot of people, when they make a change in their life, positive or anything, they start becoming critical of their other friends who have the right to keep smoking, or they have the right to continue staying in the system. They have the right to do that. They're grown-ups. They can choose their own path. But sometimes we get a little bit short-tempered with them because, we see what they're doing, and, there might be some elements of what the old life was like that were still attractive, even though we understand it's kind of a sellout. But we were willing to make a sacrifice for the paradigm shift, but our friends are not. But they're still our friends, like you love them anyway, like she was saying. And we have to watch our mouth. We have to watch our tongue, that we don't inadvertently get snotty and get cruel. Because, if you were smart as me, you'd catch on to this. But you don't want to cop an attitude like that. You want to still be loving and still be friendly and to say, it's okay, man. I'm just doing my thing. You're doing your thing. If you can keep it light, keep it humorous, make jokes about it. Make humor out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I know when somebody's ready and when they're not, and I leave it alone when they're not, because it's just an uphill climb and it's like a headbanging event. So I know if they'll infer whether they're ready for more or they won't. And if they don't, I just go off on something else because I know they're not ready to step through the door in any way, shape, or form. It wouldn't pay to go there because somebody's going to get mad.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to still pay attention to the most basic things. Like, for example, I preheated my grill, and I realized I left my wire brush on the grill last night, and it is now charcoal.
Oh, man. Hey, stuff happens.
Even though you know what you're doing, sometimes if you don't have the right checklist.
Yep.
You know, it's always good to have a checklist. Make sure you dot your I's, cross your T's. Kind of like your morning ritual, you don't even think about it anymore. You get up, you take a shower, you go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, it's on autopilot. But, if you get in a hurry, all of a sudden you forget a thing, right? Or you forget to put your wristwatch on, or you forget this, you forget that, because, stressful moments create breaks in your concentration and even your ingrained habits. As we go through this process of this metamorphosis, it's also important to remember that it is a transition. It's not just dropping, off of the Earth and waking up on Mars. That there's a process, that the old stuff is still there, the new stuff is there, and being able to handle that and manage that mentally, psychologically, emotionally, in terms of paperwork and business, and in terms of law, there's a lot to keep track of. And so everybody should give themselves a break, not be critical of themselves, not condemn themselves if they don't get it right the first time or the second time. It just takes a little bit of time to go from a duck to a goose.
Yeah. Speaking of duck, goose, I know my last name. I've been called Goose my whole life. And anyways, the transformation. Yeah, I'm now I'm a full goose. I come over to the other side. I don't duck and run anymore. I just move forward. So, anyways, what do you think of some of the information we were covering on the front end of this thing?
Hey, Goose, I'm still waiting for you to lay that golden egg.
Yeah, me too. It's a beautiful thing, though. But everything's starting to come to fruition. This has been a really beautiful call tonight. And I can tell that people are starting to get the memo on a different level, and it just takes a little time. That's why I put posts everywhere, and I try and give everybody a follow the bouncing ball, because, it's got to be in digestible chunks. Otherwise, it's like, eating an apple pie. You can't eat the whole damn thing at one sitting, or eating a big turkey, and then the tryptophan kicks in, and you've got to go to sleep. So it's got to be in digestible chunks, and that's why I created this 8-week curriculum at privatist.me, so everybody can go get digestible. We can get digestible chunks and move forward through this transition. That's why we have audios and videos, and this is everybody's a little faster. Everybody's got different speeds of digesting. So I don't want nobody getting heartburn, but at the same time, you got to move forward.
Yeah. So what do you think the next step is there, Pete?
And the next step into what?
The next step to help people bridge these gaps. I'm really delighted to see, how many folks are going out and trying different little things in courtrooms in terms of their own standing. I mean, and these are people who have never in their life done anything outrageous, ever. And they're getting the guts to go up there to a judge and say, I don't consent. I don't do this. I don't do that. I claim common law. And they're shutting these people down left and right. And the courts are not quite figuring out what to do with them. And like you said, okay, fine, just get this guy out of here. Let's get the next one.
Right. They're looking for the low-lying fruit, the easy, non-resistance uphill climb. That's why they say people to the end of issues when they don't have a go-along, get-along type. Yeah, matter of fact, brother, share with how you cleared a court in Chicago. I love that story. Folks,
my hope is that everybody can have that experience. You know, so it was so friendly and private. It was just like, I was waiting for the clerk to get out a deck of cards. I wasn't quite sure if we were there to play poker or have a trial. It was just so chit chatty happy. Anyway.
Yep.
I know I've told this story a couple times before, so it's not. And it was just.
Well, I'd like to. Yeah, I'd like you to share just a little bit of it, just to show people what happens when you are educated and you do have knowledge and you know who you are. We always talk about knowing who you are.
Well, in my case, I think it was turned out being more than knowing who I am. It's knowing who I am and having filed a whole bunch of paperwork with a whole bunch of people so that they had noticed that they know who I was. All right? Because this couldn't have happened if there wasn't something on the books, right? Because before every case, they look you up, believe it or not. Yeah, they research you quite well. Before any case, they know everything about you. Somebody gets paid in the court to go and do all that stuff. So I have been doing this a long time, so for those who understand what these terms are, I've already done my secured party creditor thing and had great advice on how to do that properly. UCC 1 liens, UCC 3 editions, so that, my straw man is, fully liened. In the case anybody has any misunderstanding of what your straw man is, people say, oh, this is this other identity for you and everything. It's all wrong. My personal opinion, what people don't understand is your straw man is the United States of America. Okay,
Yep.
It is a metaphor for the United States of America. You, the flesh and blood man, are an authorized signatory for the debt of the United States of America, and you execute that action and that role and responsibility every time you sign. Okay, the check is the name. If you got a personal check, capital name in the upper left-hand corner of your check is the United States of America. It is not Gregory DeGlaper. It is the United States of America spelled Gregory DeGlaper. All right, that's
right.
what it is. Ever since this whole bankruptcy debt fiasco, that's the only way that they could keep a system together to work, and that's a topic for another day on how that works. But just understand that you're an authorized signatory for the United States every day you wake up, period. Yep. So that's who your straw man is. Your straw man is the United States.
Yep.
So anyway, when you lien your straw man, you lien the United States.
Right.
The point. Okay? No less. So when you're doing that, that's a big deal. The question is, a lot of people are just like going and doing stuff off the internet. So when you end up in a situation dealing with the powers that be, they have to test you to see if you just were like copying and pasting some shit off the internet to get away without paying a bill, or if you're actually involved in this and know what the hell you're doing. All right? The ones that are just trying to be cheaters, well, they get caught. But if you're actually doing it, know what you're doing, they'll give you a couple tests, and then after that, they'll kind of leave you alone. They won't always leave you alone because the message doesn't make it all the way down to the street to all the cops all the time. But generally speaking, once you hit a courtroom, they'll leave you alone. So, in my particular instance that Pete asked me to explain, let me get on this. I had done all that stuff, and I've been, identifying myself as an independent for a very long time, and I had missed the stop sign and had a driver's license that was expired on that particular night because it was my birthday and I was out with some friends. I didn't realize that their driver's license was going to expire that night. So I get pulled over like 30 minutes after my birthday. And the guy goes, don't worry about the thing. Just get in there on Monday and get a new one, but you have to go to court for this stop sign. So I did all my preparation. And in the basement of the county courthouse for traffic court, there are 7 courtrooms. When I went down there, there was 6 courtrooms filled with at least 100 to 200 people. piled out the doors, just overcrowded to hell. As you can imagine, they rate lots of tickets in a town this big. And so I go to my cart room, number 5, and it's completely empty. And I look in there and I holler up to the clerk. I go, "Excuse me, was there a change of cart here or something?" She goes, "Well, no, what's it for?" I told her. She goes, "Oh, no, we're waiting for you. Come on in." Okay, so I wander on up and I sit down at the front, and there's a sign that says attorneys need to register. I said, "Excuse me, do I need to register?"
That was nasty of them to say that to you.
I said, "Do I need to register?" She goes, "Do you have a bar card?" I go, "No." She goes, "Don't worry about it."
Wow.
Okay. She goes, "Oh, I'm an attorney, but I just don't have a bar card." Okay. There you go. So anyway, I'm sitting there waiting, and the next thing I know, I hear this nice old man's voice from behind the bench. The judge has already come into the room. All the players have walked into the room while I was sitting there reading. And he says, "Good morning, sir. We're here for you. What can we do for you?" I'm
wow.
like, "Oh, I didn't hear you come in." You know, there was no bailiff going, "All rise," bullshit like that. You know, it's just like, whatever. You know, so I'm just kind of like taking it, okay, if this is going to be cool, then all right, that's cool that it's going to be cool. I like that. All right, it's cool that it's going to be cool. So anyway, he says, "Are you Gregory G?" And I said, "No, sir, I'm not." He goes, "Really?" He says, "Who are you?" I says, "Well, I'm the authorized representative, executor, and attorney in fact for Gregory G." And he says, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Do you have anything to show that?" I says, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. I've got about 3 or 4 documents from the Secretary of State that I can share with you. This shows that the Secretary of State recognizes me in that capacity." So I brought all my stuff up and threw it up there. He looked at it. He goes, "Okay, let's proceed." And as people don't realize, that is the most important part of the entire process. Okay? Yeah. Because I, the flesh and blood Gregg dude, am recognized in court as not being Gregg G, the straw man. And the court will hear me as that representative.
Yep.
Okay? That's a big deal. Okay? There's no such thing in my case as the judge going, "Well, the defendant didn't appear, so we're doing a default judgment." Now, I don't have to ever worry about that again because I've got precedential cases now where I can say, "Well, you know, it'd be nice if you look at the record."
Yep.
The court will already recognize me, and so you can't do that to me anymore. So anyway, we proceed. And he says, "I'm curious. Is Mr. Graper dead?" No. And, "Hey, Mom, I'm on the phone." Hey. "Yes, I'm always on the phone. It's never safe to talk to me. That's right. Keep that in mind. That's what I tell the judge all the time. It's never safe to talk to me."
Hey, it's just a talk show, brother. It's no big deal.
Yeah, anyway, yeah. You know what? I just thought maybe a little comic relief would be good. Anyway, so
that's great.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, he goes, "Is Mr. Graper dead?" I go, "Well, I don't know, sir. Do you?" And he just looked at me with a grin, and I go, "Okay." And so he says, "Okay, well, can you tell me where Mr. Graper is?" I go, "Well, I'm glad you asked." And so I pull out a certified copy of the birth certificate and I hand it to him. And he looks at it, and so the clerk and the bailiff and everybody come running over. They're looking at the documents and looking at everything else, like all panicky, standing around him like a huddle, you know. And
right.
So he hands it back to me. He goes, "Okay." He says, "This is confusing." He goes, "This is a birth certificate. Where's Mr. Graper?" I go, "Sir," I looked at him square in the eye and with a smile. I go, "Sir, you and I both know that is Mr. Graper." And there was this big, long pause, and the judge looked at everybody else in the room and said, "Does anybody have anything to say?" Dead silence. Nothing. Picks up his gavel. "Case dismissed. Here you go. Here's your stuff. Have a nice day." Done. All right. So
Yeah, and this is over up in big old Chicago where you had they had the sheep getting sheared in 5, 6 other boxes by the hundreds, and you got your own venue. No pun intended, by the way.
Yeah, because they don't want me to. They don't want to hear people like me or you or anybody else talking in front of these other folks. Because, you know, I also understand that in terms of the system that we serve a purpose for the Matrix. And watching that video that I sent you, that what the hell is it? Oh, you just said it. Modern slavery. What is that thing, Pete? I'm not looking at it.
Oh, yeah. Let me. Yeah, it's called consent. Let's see. Well, I had it on this page. I got to go to another page. Yeah, it's called Slavery by Consent: Understanding the Human Farm, and that's what they think we all are, as animals on the farm.
Right. In addition, I went through that whole audio, the whole video rather, and it's in sections, and different sections cover different things. Now, It's not my work; it's somebody else's work, but it's all a 2 hour and 18-minute long thing. And so I went and I indexed it for every section, and I sent you an email with that, so that you can see all the time start points on the video. So if anybody wants to go jump to a particular thing to see it again, they can do that without having to, worry themselves with figuring out where they are in the whole thing. But within that, there was a particular thing that talked about how the farmer is totally happy to have 1 in 1,000 sheep escape. All right? The reason is that he wants the sheep to feel that they can, okay, so that they have hope, okay? And so a lot of us, we might not even realize it. We might be allowed to escape. They might be able to do other things to us that we don't even know yet. We don't know.
Yep.
But we might, those who are tenacious have to go and do these things. It's very possible that we're allowed to escape so that we give everybody else hope.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But a lot of the other ones will never act on it, never do anything. They'll always just have this thing in their mind, well, it's not that bad because I could escape if I wanted to.
Right. Yeah, well, they got to lie to themselves to keep themselves happy in that paradigm. Anyways, brother, I'm fixing to go to a break, and we're going to come back at about 5 if you want to hang loose, or if you want to coast on to your taking care of your grill. I got a couple more calls coming in right behind you. Let me get up. Let me get up with you after the show, brother. We'll talk.
Yeah, well, I'll just stay on and listen, and if you want to tap me on the shoulder later on, I'll be around. I'll be listening. I was trying to do it on the computer, but it kept crapping out, so that's why I had to call in.
The last part of the show, and I'm going to pop a question, 415. You're on the ball. Come on in, Deatrice. You can let him on through, and I'll take that question.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, brother. This is Peter.
All right, brother. How you doing, Brother Pete? This is Brother Paul calling you live from Washington, D.C.
How you doing, brother? Hey, you getting a little snow up your end of the world?
Yeah, we're getting a little flurries out here, man. It's pretty darn cold.
Yeah, it sure is. So same with Chicago. I think we're all getting our share tonight.
Oh, yeah. We're doing our best to stay warm, brother. But I'm just sitting here enjoying the show. I wanted to call in and just share an experience that I had today. I joined private.me, let's say a couple weeks back, but I upgraded to a full year membership today.
Very great.
I definitely wanted to get some of that knowledge from the Secret Banker's Manual. But I got a call because I got a student loan from Sally Mae that has been chasing my tail for like the last 7 years now. I have paid them in the past and have got tricked into a couple of their notice schemes to collect their debt. But today, after reading some information from off of Providence, I kind of changed the conversation and told them that I'm speaking in my executor capacity now, and that he could address me as either Lonnie or Mr. Paul. And his response was that he's not authorized to speak about the account with me. And I told him that will be fine. I understand we wish to correspond through email or mail in the future anyway. And
yes.
He said, well, we can't speak with you any further about this matter, but everything you said, sir, I have made note of. And I said, well, thank you.
Well, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, brother. Well, hey, you know what? You're the beneficiary of my goodwill because the 3-step package you'll be getting full access to for us doing our Thursday night call on to go over, because we like to educate. We like people operating from a position of knowledge and strength, not ignorance and fear. And so, you know what, brother? You just stepped into the most. We're going to have some fun. You know what? We're going to have some fun. And I thank you for coming over to Privatist.me, brother, because, like Michael says, take a walk on the wild side, sort of like that song back in the 70s. But, hey, we are busting the brakes off this deal. And like I say, you're going to be really excited at what you got coming forward. And we're going to try and make sure everybody gets posted their package by Monday night. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Michael's already completed the package. I've seen it. And we're going to share some love on a different level. And this is called Put 'em in the Box because, brother, it's all tricks for kids. The whole banking system, the whole scam, they never expect us to ask. So this is why, you got to share the love, and you're going to with the 3-pronged approach, and they're literally going to not have too much wiggle room. And, yeah, if you haven't seen my post on what I did, I actually did a misprision of a felony charge to the state attorney general. I said, I'm going to step this up a little bit because the third-party debt collector wasn't getting my memo, the attorney. So after she didn't get my memo, I just ratted her out, misprision of a felony charge. I have the document. It's not posted, but all the other information on this issue is posted right on the homepage. If you clicked on, Michael already posted it for everybody's consumption. So, yeah, brother, I've been trying to get my brothers and sisters on these calls to come over to Privates.me and take a walk on the wild side because, hey, that's all we deal with is things of substance. And it seems like they didn't have any way to get in, and now, like I say, it's posted everywhere. So if people highlight the Privates.me, if they came through the show call tonight on tonight's dated call, it's posted right below it. You can highlight it, click on it, and put it right in the search bar, and it'll take you right over and get through the front door. So have you been enjoying the room with a view, the buffet, brother, since you've been at Privates.me?
Yes, I have. I've been taking full advantage of all of the information and goodies that are over there, man. I've been trying to reference a few brothers that I have here that we have our own private circles where we share some of this type of knowledge. I got to second what the brother you were speaking about, that you were speaking to earlier was saying, though, you got to choose your battles because that I would say is probably the hardest part that I've experienced, just trying to convince some loved ones who are really thick-skulled and, they don't want to do their homework, but
right. And that's why you sent them over to the site.
I'm having a good time, though, like you said. I mean, it blows my mind. I'm completely amazed, and I'm having a good time just learning and being able to articulate it much better.
Yep. See, that's what clarity does for the mind. It's empowering, and you ain't seen nothing yet, brother. Because hey, you're in for a year, and you got a ringside seat. Because I'm going to be beating the brakes off. I'm going to get into trust law, other areas. So I thank you for coming on the call. I just need to cover a couple things, and brother, welcome to my buffet table, and I'm glad you're here.
Absolutely, I'm happy to be here, brother Pete.
Okay, thank you, brother. I will catch up with you on Thursday night's call for sure.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. Anyways, folks, I wanted to cover, don't forget we do have a YouTube channel now, and I'm going to be posting some YouTubes myself. So, y'all need to go over to the YouTubes. And, hey, those that want to click not the chip-in button, but the PayPal button to help out keep Blog Talk Radio Freedom Reigns online. That offer I put out earlier for the 2 cancer books. One is literally covers anything on cancer you're afraid to ask, and as well as the 1-minute cure. Anybody that does a $10 donation, I'll automatically, when they send an email with the proofs to the Freedom Reigns producer, she forwards them to me, and then I'm going to give you the PDFs, desktop, which no one should be without. Because, folks, we are multifaceted. We're dealing with issues of the day, and your health and physical well-being is definitely high on the list because if you're not well, then you're going to have problems. But anyways, also on that level, I wanted to cover, I guess, Deatra, did we have one more caller to come in? I could take that, I guess. And then I'm going to cover what's going down, what's cooking at my grill over at privatist.me, because we do have the offer on the table till midnight tomorrow night, and I want to cover that before we get off. No callers. Okay, well, good. That allows me to move forward, folks. What we've done, Brother Mike and I, that's why privatist.me is private, is we've created information package that can literally, folks, it's all about removing the presumption. And so we created this information. We, after I said, hey, I've already dealt with these issues. I need to share with my brothers and sisters how to deal with them, and with simplicity, ease of access. And anyways, what we do is a simple, easy, effective 3-step process that stops all third parties dead cold. But until you remove the presumption that you have no contract with these folks, and I'm being nice calling them folks, they think you have a contract by your failure to reply to their offer. So, folks, that's why we created this package, so you can reply to the offer and remove the presumption. Anyways, once they send you an offer, you must respond with a simple counteroffer of your own called verification of debt letter, which we put in the beautiful red box for you now to effectively create your counteroffer, which they must respond to, but they never will. That's the beauty. You want to make them do some heavy lifting, and they're not going to, but that's their Achilles heel. Anyways, we also offer to fully pay upon proof of a valid claim, which they can never provide. Anyways, their failure to respond to your counteroffer means that they now have no wiggle room to move forward for failure to respond to your counteroffer. This is the stuff you're not supposed to know. Like Mary and I talked on the front end of this call, they don't have any capacity. They think they do, but you've got to put it to bed, and that's why we created this package, so we can take the pain away from your door, so the bottom feeders they well realize that they no longer have clout to deal with you. Anyways, the minute you send your counteroffer, the clock stops until they verify the alleged debt, which they'll never do. And the reason we red box your counteroffer is because it makes pretty much everything you're asking for on your document to settle the account by your counteroffer to be non-negotiable. What that means, well, first of all, that's actually in their own rules of 4, rules of 8. And your new offer to contract will force them pretty much into an untenable situation because they're not going to be able to answer any of the questions. That's the way I make it. Anyways, they're operating from a position of 100% fraud, and they know it. So everything under the rules of 4 falls under insurance, because when you defaulted on the original credit card contract or whatever, they collected on that contract in full, and that debt was now fully paid under the insurance contract they had on your original contract. So, folks, why would you want to deal with a liar, crook, and a thief who bought it for 6 cents on the dollar? He gives you the impression that he's in bed with the original creditor, for lack of a better word, but they're not, because matter of fact, so we ask them for that contract. Anyways, we have fun with this, folks. It's really, really fun. Anyways, they then effectively sold that non-existent debt to that third party, the original creditor did, to usually a debt collector attorney or somebody who they bought the account to see if they could trick you into the game, folks. That's all this is tricks. And once you understand that, that's why this process is so powerful. It's extremely effective. It worked for me, for mine, except I let one get away, but I put them in the bed, in the box as well. Anyways, when you do your counteroffer to remove the presumption immediately, so as to having no gray areas that you do not have a contract with them, they must respond, but they never do. Like I say, you take away their Achilles heel because they'll never respond. And when you red box it, it means you're asking on your new contract offer, and it becomes non-negotiable because it is red box, not like an instrument, but it's forcing them to answer what you're asking. Anyways, nobody knows about this technology. We just started covering this recently. My brother Gregg has shared this with me. Anyways, this is what makes this so powerful. They will never see the inside of a court. Anyways, for those who haven't signed up over on privatist.me, there's probably a lot of new ones who've never even been in the portals, but yeah, we created basically for the annual membership that everybody that came in between now and midnight, actually we're supposed to close it tonight, anybody that comes over to privatist.me, they'll get the package for free because we really despise debt collectors, and we all want to have fun, and we want your testimonial, and you're going to be a testimonial if you use the package. Anyways, I'm going to go into it real deep tonight, so if you haven't come on over to the buffet at privatist.me, this is where you're going to want to come. Folks, this package is we made it simple. We actually give directions. I'm actually going to do an MP3 call on Thursday, so you can follow the bouncing ball very, very simply. And yes, it works on old credit card debt, old medical debt, old car loans, old gas bills, old electric bills, basically any debt that has been farmed out to a third-party debt slug. So the reason you must do this 3-step process is when they fail to respond to your offer, and they will, you will send the second document 3 days after the offer to fully pay, certified mail, called the notice of fault. Now you have proof that they failed through silence to respond to your offer, because they're doing it to you every day, folks, but you never respond. Then within 3 days after that second notice, we send out a third, and that's basically the stake through the vampire's heart, and that notice of default. Now you have proofs, exhibits A, B, and C, that they failed to respond. So when they fail to verify, which they never do, they don't want you to know that you're supposed to be asking for a verification. Matter of fact, folks, down in Texas, the FTC just shut down a third-party debt slugs down there because they were intimidating the hell out of people. Folks, what they do is beyond reprehensible. It's criminal. And so, folks, like I say, fraud vitiates all contracts. So don't worry about the time amount if you have 10 years or whatever. The minute you put the bear back in the box, i.e., send your first document, the clock has to stop, because now they've got to do the untenable situation, which they can't. And, folks, it really, really does work. It's effective. So for those who haven't been over to privatist.me, it's we got the highlighted. You can highlight it and put it in the search bar. Also, if you came into Freedom Reigns US, it's posted over there, privatist.me. We actually have a tab that says privatist.me, and you can step right in through the blue icon and get right in. Because, folks, I'm doing this 8-week curriculum on this educational stuff with the PDFs and attachments and these talks. But if you don't come and get your school materials, you're going to be lost. And so in order to create you not being lost, I said I'm going to give educational protocols that everybody can follow so they can get the memo. So you are really, really, if you have never seen somebody seen third-party debt termination work on a student loan debt, it's over on the site on the curriculum, the 8-week curriculum, and you can actually download it and take a look at it, as well as the secret banker's manual, my birth certificate bond, because I talked about the birth certificate bond, this birth certificate securitization scam. So, folks, I mean, it's really, really, I want to keep this 8-week class going, so because by the time you come out the other side, you're going to have a lot more direction to flow in your mind on how all this came down, how it happened, and enjoy the benefits of the medical stuff. I have a cancer page. I have a plethora of excellent educational information. Matter of fact, Brother Gregg, we've been helping his sister out because they sent her home to pretty much die after they treated her with the chemo and stuff. So, you know, we're covering a wide range of bases. It's not just about the debt stuff, folks. So, anyways, Brother Gregg, you still there?
Yeah, I am. Do you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, matter of fact, how is your sister doing?
I didn't know if you could hear me snoring.
No. Yeah, I put you to sleep. I'm sorry.
No, it's just, I listen to your voice. It's just a lullaby, Anyway.
Yeah. I put myself to sleep.
As I had mentioned to you before, the initial, there was a little bit of rocky road stuff at the beginning. And okay, I don't know to what extent you've explained, some of the things that we've researched and some of the things that, and we're standing on the shoulders of other people's work. Peter and I are not gigantic, famous biochemists, okay?
Right.
We're ordinary guys. Okay, we're ordinary guys. I've got an engineering and music background and business, and Pete's got a background in communications and installation stuff, as well as a medical doctor in the Navy, but that's just a medic, that's not like a research
scientist. A physician, yeah. But I did everything a physician did in the field, pharmacy and everything and all that fun stuff.
Okay. So, we all come at this from our own direction, from our own vector. We've also had some help in research from my oldest kid, who is a biochemist.
Yep.
And in terms of trying to parse the wheat from the chaff, because there's been so much done on the alternative medicine side over the years, it's phenomenal. But there's also some stuff out there that's done with good intention, but is not necessarily really good. Okay, so you got to pick it apart. The easiest thing is not always the best thing. You know, as somebody once said, there's the right way and then there's the easy way. Which way do you want to go? So anyway, I'm sorry for meandering here. The initial stuff with Ruthann was really positive, and then it became a little tenuous because she started coughing up blood and stuff like that. So she backed off on our recommended regimen, and then went back on it and slowly brought it up to speed instead of doing it too fat, which we found to be useful. She went in and had a CAT scan and an MRI, and it is, you know, absolutely true that the doctor said that the tumor is shrinking and that she's feeling better and has more stamina and everything else, as well as there's an artifact or a side effect, if you will, that at the bottom of her, this is a lung cancer issue, at the bottom of her lung that's affected, there seems to be like a pooling, collecting of something there that the doctors couldn't figure out. My oldest son speculated that it's probably the material from the tumor, you know, breaking loose and falling apart. It has to go somewhere, and gravity, you know, goes down, you know. And so they took her off antibiotics, and so we just had her amplify her consumption of fresh garlic and garlic tablets, which has a fantastic antibiotic effect on the human body. And so that was this week, and so we're waiting to see how that does in terms of getting rid of whatever this little extra collection of stuff is that's collecting in the bottom of her lung. But in fact, the MRI and the CAT scan indicated that our regimen that we have her doing is shrinking the tumor. Okay, and they had sent her home to die in 6 to 12 months. So it is it is a positive. It is positive. It is awesome. You know, somebody would call it a miracle. But if anybody wants to learn more about the details of what we're doing with respect to our sister and lung cancer, I'm sure we can share that off call. As well as the fact that just keep in mind that the National Institutes of Health just gave the folks over at the University of Arizona a $2 million grant to continue to prove that baking soda kills cancer in women's breast cancer and women's lung cancer. Because they already proved that it's true. Now they gave them another $2 million to quantify it. And our standing joke is, let's all run out and empty the shelves of all the grocery stores of all the baking soda, because when this thing hits the street, it's going to become a controlled substance.
God forbid if it was 3 cents a dose, we got to make it $30 a dose. We got to patent that too. Right.
You'll never be able to bake a loaf of bread again, because all the baking soda is going to be in the pharmacy. Like a controlled substance. You got to love it. Yeah, I know. They do that all the time. Anyways. Well, like I say, I like to share a success. You know, like I say, because it is, to me, it's a success. Anything, if it's a positive turnaround after like I say, the chemicals really do beat the body down. So to get a bounce back in any way, shape, or form is really, really a positive sign. It's always good. That nebulizer really did help, and I'm sure it did. So, And she's continuing the whole process, and you know, I'm really proud of her because it takes a lot of work.
Well, hey, brother, I thank you for coming on the show, and I'm going to make a segue to, like I say, folks, help Freedom Reigns stay online. If you like what you're hearing, you like what we're doing, any $10 donation will be met with 2 excellent PDFs that everybody should have for their desktop. If you don't know anything about 35% food-grade hydrogen peroxide and how it makes your body oxygen-rich and how to dose with it, and it's dirt cheap, and it really, really is effective bringing your body out of acidic to alkaline, you're really definitely going to want to read this. It's simple to follow. It's easy. That's where I live. I'm the simple, easy guy. But based on that, share the love. $10 kicking gets you the guaranteed books for your desktop. I'll send them to you personally from my email. And anyways, share a little love. This is what keeps us going round and round. And for those who are trying to get over to privateist.me, yep, make a beeline. Like I say, we will be closing down. The annual membership gets you the package. Yep, it's that simple. But after Sunday night, it's going to be pulled off the table. I'm resorting back to the package as is because, like I say, it took us a lot of time to put all this stuff together. So, this helps keep my webmaster, the lights on and everything else. So, if you haven't been over to privateist.me, like I say, get the free documents. It's free to come into the portals. It's free to get the medical information. It's free to listen to the audios. It's free to watch the videos, Changes on the Horizon, and these other excellent information to give you a little paradigm shift in digestible chunks. And the curriculum is also posted on the front page. So when you sign up and come in for free, yes, you'll get access to the curriculum, the past audios that we're doing on the curriculum, as well as all attachments. So, folks, I tried posting all the privatist.me's and all the portals properly. So, because I know people have had difficulty getting in because we'll have 20,000 on the call and only 2 will come in through the front door. So I obviously must have been doing something wrong. So I just made it a whole heck of a lot easier. Come on in, folks. The water's fine. And with that, go to our YouTubes at Freedom Reigns as well. You're going to love them. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I want to say something. With regards to privatist.me and just generally, everybody who's listening, you know that there's a lot of folks out there who basically, don't have a job or do this or do that. And so they start a talk show or they do something else so they can raise some bucks, okay? And, the idea of helping people is secondary to their initial underlying unspoken agenda of making money, all right? I would like to just personally let you know that is not the case with Pete and Mike and Privatist.me. I've known these guys a long time, and I've got nothing to do. I don't have any interest in their operation with that site. I'm just their pal, all right? And so as their pal, okay, I could be like, oh, yeah, maybe you can't trust me, but, just take it for what it's worth. I know that these guys have the biggest hearts in the world. And while Pete's out here trying to be a pitch man right now to get folks over to do that stuff, just understand the simple physics of the thing. A place to come. Imagine if it was a social center in your neighborhood with a building and a nice warm, heated area where you could just sit down and talk to folks and learn about things and share things. It would take resources. It would take energy. It would take some kind of money of some kind, right? And Privatist.me is just like your neighborhood meeting center, just it's not in your neighborhood. It's over there on a website now, okay? Because, the beauty of the Internet is that we've been able to build communities outside of our physical locations, and this is kind of like that. It's kind of like a social meeting room where you all can get together, talk about the things that you care about, talk about the things that you have in common, express your concerns, express your joys, and just be yourself. And so just that's my perception of the whole thing, and that's why I encourage folks to give it a shot. Try it out. I think you won't be displeased. And if there's ever a problem, Mike and Pete are jolly on the spot to find out what's wrong. So
right.
That's what I want.
Thank you very much, Greg. And with that, we're about done. And, folks, we're just about the education. That's when you get your clarity, and that's where the paradigm shift comes in. Education, knowledge is power. And at that, Deatra, I'm ready to cut. And, folks, really thank you for coming on tonight in the spirit of things, and we'll catch you on Tuesday. I got to set up what I'm going to be doing for next weekend. You all know if you're on privatist.me, you also get all the emails on what I'm doing next. So, anyways, folks, have a great night. Thank you for coming, and we'll catch you on Tuesday. Have a great night. Bye-bye.